I've never commuted a single day in my life. I took Ubers for an entire year, but that is not conventional commuting. Let me tell you how I was able to afford it. If we haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet, let me just turn that camera down a tiny bit. My name is Andrew, and this is Professor Meatball. We are Silicon Valley entrepreneurs here in the Great Bay Area, but most importantly, I want to share with you the life hacks that was able to get me this far into my career, which is how was I able to never commute in my entire life. As a 26-year-old data scientist, entrepreneur, and person on the internet, I have to say that this kind of lifestyle can have a lot of traveling. And I've never had to travel a distance of a normal commute, getting on a dusty subway or perhaps getting in your car, facing the sun, driving 1 to 2 hours each way. No way. What I was able to do was spend money on Ubers every single day, there and back, for an entire year. Now, how was I able to do that? Uber Pool Express. Back in the day when Uber was trying to vie for a spot in the public transportation sector, Uber was offering a $4 static cost to Uber from one sector to the other, normally a non-business district to a business district. So I was living in Hyde Park in the UChicago campus, and I wanted to get to the Loop. Well, in order to do that, that was around a 30 to 40-minute drive. I was able to get that for $4 every day, constantly, by waking up at 4 a.m. I didn't even put my contacts in. If people who know me, I'm pretty blind. So I just fumbled my way to the Uber every morning. It was the dead, cold, silent nights of Chicago. Twilight is not even happening yet until like 7 a.m. I got to the office, first one there. I clocked in, started working on scripting, started working on dashboarding, started working on data pipelining, and then when people started filing in, I was ready to start finishing up half of my day. This was awesome because traffic in Chicago existed. It was not as nearly as cumbersome as in Chicago, but it had an immense effect on your happiness, which is one of the only factors, the only constants in life: death, taxes, and commuting. Commuting is one of the major inflictors of unhappiness on any population, no matter where you are in the world. So luckily, if anything, the pandemic has cut that for a lot of the population, for people who no longer need to commute, or people who were telecommuters, people who were working remote anyway. They are now getting to share their lifestyle with almost the entire world. So you say that couldn't have lasted forever. Uber probably discontinued that service eventually. So how are you able to not commute now? Well, two ways. The second way I was able to not commute was living as close as I could to the campus in which I worked. When I worked at a big Silicon Valley company, I lived down the street from it, and I was able to walk maybe a 10-minute walk, or if I was lazy, I would do a 5-minute drive. And finally, I got a snazzy electric scooter and a longboard, which cut the commute somewhere between 5 to 10 minutes, and it was really fun doing it. That's the Silicon Valley lifestyle. I don't expect everyone to be able to live right next to where they work, especially if you have family and other commitments, but that is one of the second ways to be able to cut your commute down to almost zero, or at the very least have it in a very fun way. The third way is to live in a van in the parking lot of your company. No. The third way is to work remotely. Now, there's only two caveats with working remotely. One is that you're going to be paid on a remote budget. You see, when people come in person, especially in the tech sector, people get paid a lot more. It just ends up being that they are a lot more valuable when they come in person. However, if you work in the same state as the state that you're working in, then there's a lot more restrictions on how much less they can pay you than their other workers. So if it's a company that isn't entirely remote, then they have certain obligations to fill, as they need to fill a specific quota for how much they can pay you. Second caveat of working remotely is that you no longer have the normal work-life schedule. You no longer have the time to work dynamically, hobnob, and try to work with other diagonal supporters of your career trajectory so that you can start climbing that ladder. If you want to grow your career in a short amount of time, then that is something to consider. And not being in person means that you're going to have your opportunities and your career growth happen outside of the company, finding other opportunities with newer companies instead of working your way vertically upward, which ultimately might actually be a better way to go about it anyway. Without the obligation and the possibility of being able to move upward in your own company, you suddenly have your focuses a lot more clear. You do great work at this job, and then you have your work speak for yourself. You're not bogged down by interpersonal communication that could ultimately pay off or could ultimately just have distracted you along the way. All that said, I work remotely in California. I worked for a company in DC, and it was a great time. I was running a team. I was building out different products. I was having the time of my life being a person working remote and realizing that it was something that I could handle. right? It was something that I could keep myself on a schedule and be able to have productive work go into my passion, my career path, but not be distracted by the mundane things like how is my laundry just sitting there and how are these dishes just sitting there. Being able to focus your mind when you're working remote really helps. Again, this goes back to how can you afford this lifestyle, and not every single person can afford a 0-minute commute. So if you wanted to try to be able to start building out the skills that would get you into the tech sector or even a data science role in Silicon Valley, then check out some of the playlists I've listed down below, especially one that has an end-to-end data science growth journey for you, for any specific custom case that you are a part of. And finally, I wouldn't mind if you go ahead and checked out the Webull link down below so you can get some free stocks for the new year. For now, but not for forever, let me tell you a trivia question. Today's trivia question is about confusion matrices. So I've mentioned false positives and false negatives before, but I want to know, what do you think a confusion matrix is? Leave your answers down below and I'll collect some of the right answers and give out a free consultation. The last one was given to Jack, and I actually want to shout him out, Jack Duffley, down on the YouTube community. He is a small creator. He makes great finance videos. And hey, if you want to have yourself shouted out in one of these future videos, then go ahead and screenshot this video, tag me, Andrew Mo Money, on Instagram, and I can pick you out of the bunch to give you a free consultation and a free shout out. So for now, but not for forever. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.